As wonderful as they are, the Witcher games tend to sit in my library for an extended period before I muster the energy to embark on their grand adventures. I am very fond of this game, and I do agree CD-Projekt Red is a great, conscientious and talented studio. But although I've put more time into this third installment than the first two games combined, I'm encountering the same issues. During my first, say, 30 hours, I was doing every quest I could find. Treasure hunts, contracts, and secondary quest lines gradually fell by the wayside thereafter. And now I am among the 74.2% of players, according to GOG Achievements, who own but did not complete this game. I'll try and tease apart why, and will likely have to be annoyingly nitpicky, given how generally accomplished this game is. While the narrative shines throughout, the gameplay linking the story events begins to wear, as the initial sense of wondrous awe at the tremendous world building here offered melts into the realm of the known. This wonder dissipated slowly, in proportion to my understanding of the rules and systems governing the game world, which pretty much reveal what each and every question mark on the vast map was likely to be and what they were likely to reward. A bit like science killing the wonder of nature. Towards the end of my playtime I was just following the dotted guidelines on the minimap, running from NPC interaction to NPC interaction in order to advance the story. Commuting is never torturous because the world is really stunning and alive. The initial landmass of White Orchard is a tantalizing glimpse of what's on offer later, as then the world bursts open, somewhat overwhelmingly, when entering Velen. Novigrad is a beautiful medieval city, and Skellige, when one finally gets there, is a welcome change of scenery. The web of well-told stories is compelling if you are able to dedicate 200 hours to its cause. The gameplay that attempts to glue these experiences together doesn't feel much evolved, however, from the previous two games. I wonder why CD-Projekt Red are so keen to conform to their staple RPG progression, a system that better serves the rise of a hero rather than serving the narrative of a long-established one. The game asks you to accept, from the outset, that Geralt is a century-old witcher of legendary status, and also that Geralt is a level 1 novice, with the worst swords and armor in the continent. This dislocation between legend and peasant cleaves the narrative and the combat into two different worlds, toing and froing between charismatic hero and fearful, skillless, desperate rich, depending on whether you're talking or fighting. The story mode that eases combat helped in this regard, allowing me to feel reasonably powerful from the outset, as long as I was within 5 levels of my opponents. This reduced challenge did begin to render obsolete these RPG systems, however. Perhaps more demotivating than the run-of-the-mill RPG system is the unresponsive way in which Geralt moves around. Top-notch, thorough animations demand completion before Geralt will respond to your key presses. At least this is how it feels. The over animation looks great and serves the cutscenes well, but during pedestrian passages of gameplay it drags. Combat will either feel fluid and kick-assy, or disjointed and sluggish, depending on how well the animations and key inputs cooperate, though I suppose that could be seen as a fair reflection of player's skill, denoted by the action part of action role-playing game. Still though, while using a magic lamp to view narrative cutscenes in an early side quest, Geralt's idle animations would frequently cause the cutscenes to reset, because Geralt decided by himself to look away. Geralt is determined to look cinematic and natural at all times, overriding player agency just enough to make the control scheme feel unresponsive and sticky. Some additional little niggles: I'd often meditate until morning and then wander to a nearby question mark on the map, only to have a 12-hour time-lapse forced upon me after killing a few foes. It is lovely that the local populations will return to their dwellings once the monstrous invaders are killed, but why is Geralt forced to wait 12 hours each time this happens? Maybe give me an option to not wait. This presses upon another minor issue, that the whole primary quest line is built upon a race between yourself and the wild hunt to find your adoptive daughter. The strength of this narrative hook erodes as it becomes clear that there is zero urgency. Of course this is almost mandatory for open world games, but don't poke at these shortcomings by forcing Geralt to waste time. Another niggle: Geralt has magical powers of persuasion, but these powers are so constrained by context as to be somewhat frustrating. Persuasion cannot be used to haggle at the low end of events, or to hasten the finding of Geralt's adoptive daughter. If racing the Wild Hunt is indeed urgent, perhaps Geralt might have opted to skip the Bloody Baron's quests, good though they are, demanded by him in exchange for the information Geralt sought. It's a running theme in this game that almost everyone that Geralt asks for help cannot be persuaded or paid. They must have their own errands attended to first, thus padding out the main quests. Geralt can also push obstacles, but again Geralt can only break through context-specific barriers only, not, say, wooden doors. A final little bug-related niggle: after a couple of tussles in Novigrad, I'm finding that small pockets of the population scream and panic whenever they see me, as if the fight is still going on. This issue was magnified somewhat by the regular commute through the town. In the end though, The Witcher 3 remains a really exceptionally accomplished and polished project. That the full experience demands 100 or 200 hours of focused gameplay rules a lot of people out of this world, who feel, rightly or wrongly, that they cannot commit that quantity of time. I will not casually suggest that The Witcher games should attempt to cater to people with less time to spare, as this would invariably make the experience shallower, but I do hope that The Witcher 4 at least tightens Geralt's controls and revises the RPG system so that it operates in union with the narrative instead of apart from it. Told you, had to be nitpicky. This game is mainly wonderful. I only wish I had some undisturbed time to play it further. I award Witcher 3 an invitation to all the royal weddings.